Hello everyone, my name is Eyram Tawia and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Letty Arts, which is a video game and digital comics creative development studio in Ghana and Kenya. So we've been building games for the past 10 years on this continent, and I'm really excited to discuss this topic with you. I think the topic is how to utilize branded gaming projects to fund your dream projects. And coming from this part of the world where funding for gaming is really limited, and now starting how to use or find other form of investment to continue your dream project is quite a challenge. So this topic is really important for us to discuss on the continent, and also try to see how to strategically fund your dream projects whilst working with what you have around, the corporates that are, or the NGOs or companies that are around who still need your services. And in game development, there are a lot of ways to come together in this industry, both the arts and the science. So it's an industry that brings together all skill sets. And at the art side, you have graphic designers, you have illustrators, 3D modelers, animators, and all that who come together. In the science side, you have the programmers, you have app developers, web designers, and project managers. And in the business, you have those who actually produce, creative directors, as well as investors and all these business guys, operations and all that. So the company is mostly, a game company is mostly an all-in-one company. And when it comes to, without funding, when it comes to funding internal projects, you need to be able to keep all these resources who are working with you going. And one smart way that we at Letty have used over the years has been using what we have to make money or to run our dream projects. And from a previous discussion, that we've had, I've mentioned to you that we started in 2009. Within 2 years, we ran out of funding. So we were actually challenged to now make money from what we had built then. And 10 years down the line, or 8 years down the line, we are still ongoing and still self-investing in our projects and strategically signing bigger partnerships here and there. So one of the things that we use currently for our consulting wing, which is clearly still a side thing that we do, though is the revenue generating part of the business, but the main part of our business is our internal project, which is Africa's Legends, Afro Comics, and all these internal games, trying to build games and storytelling based on African history and folklore. How do we still keep this dream going and using the gamification of processes of NGOs, companies, and all other corporates who need this. These are new forms that they also need, right, as we are starting an industry to fund our dream projects. So in 2012 or 2013, we decided to look at what we have built. We built a game called Street Soccer, which was an online massive multiplayer game. And Street Soccer was deployed on Facebook and web, which had the front end, the back end. So we had a persistent world, and people could form groups of teams and challenge each other. Once you challenge, you get a push notification. I think this was when we had Mafia Wars and all those games on Facebook. So we wanted to make a soccer game like that. And previously we had built iWarrior on iOS and all that. So yes, we had built enough technology. Our art team was strong, technical team was strong. It's just that the funding wasn't that strong. And we also, since we were self-taught, we kept burning cash in trying things and all that, which couldn't see the product also through. But we had a product built then, which was a Street Soccer massive multiplayer game engine. And that engine we called Luminous. So we decided to take parts of the engine or take the engine apart, which gave us, in Street Soccer, you could chat with your friends when playing the game. You could also send push notifications, send email. You could also have graphics running, extreme graphics. So the graphics was server side, since it was a persistent massive multiplayer game. Well, so the engine scaled rightly according to every device. That time we had S40 Symbian phones and S60 Symbian phones. We have J2ME phones. All those phones also being able to access this game through Opera Mini and apps. Then Android was very new. iOS was there, but it wasn't that prominent on the continent. So, but we still built this engine to be able to scale across when it came to graphics management, processing power, and all that, which was device agnostic. So one of the first projects we did was to do an IP camera monitoring system, where I think was with a company in Kenya, where we built, they were IP cameras around Kenya. So we use our technology, the graphics, device agnostic technology, to read camera feeds and resize them for different devices. So you could use your Java phone to just log in to a camera. You can see all the cameras, and when you tap it, you can view feeds from that device, from that particular camera, depending on the location that you want to go to monitor traffic. And then some of the things we wanted to do is to analyze the image and see traffic flow and all that. And this was way back in 2012. Then and those ones were very tiny jobs that we had to do to keep revenues coming in. Then we also did some chat applications with some companies here in Ghana. We took out the chat component of our Street Soccer engine, and we built a complete WhatsApp on top of it with a company here that we licensed the technology to. We also did like an inventory management thing, like a content delivery thing, a music play, streaming service. So just took parts of our game engine and tried to license them into different products. And these were with tiny brands, smaller brands. So as we started these contract works, they were quite work for hire. Then it also strategically made us better the technology to test it out. Instead of testing the tech out in a game, we actually tested the technology with different products. And each product came with its requirements. So it automatically made us try out and also optimize parts of the game engine. Then once we are able to optimize, we suddenly pick part of that and invest into our internal project. So monies that we got from these small consulting works, we priced such that we had about 20 to 30% profit that we invest into the resources that we have internally. Then the project execution also came with the team that executed that particular project. Then we pay everyone off and invest into our dream project, Africa's Legends. So 2013, we launched Africa's Legends game, the one on Play Store now, in that format. So that is one way of working with companies and taking part of the charge and reinvesting that into your business. Then as time went on, we became more structured in terms of this consulting, which we still use up till now. We started, since it was a framework, it was our technology that we were licensing to come, or we were using and building for companies. We made it into a licensing model where we charge you, instead of development fee, we charge customization fee, and then we do license or revenue share. So if you're a company who wants a product from us, we will do a customization fee, pick parts of the Luminous engine, customize it for you. You own the end product, but you don't own the tech that we have. It's been quite challenging. Most of the clients want to own the source code. So this model wasn't strict, but at least it got us a certain structure that we move with. And I think we still use it now, since the company is in a much better position to negotiate with clients in this structure. Then there was also brand association. So let's say a company, an NGO. So for instance, some of the contracts that we did was with big NGOs who advocate for probably malaria, tree conservation, probably sexual health, best practices and all that. We try to use gamification and serious games to change this traditional way of their advocacy and plans. So, for instance, they use comic books, they use, let's say, posters to aid these advocacy campaigns. They are not able to track feedback. If someone sees a poster, you don't know whether that intervention actually met what you wanted. So a game is the best way to be able to deploy to the masses and still and be able to also get feedback directly from the platform, from the game. So we used serious games, which we still do, to actually start a whole wing around that. And I think that engine, like the engine we use now for the serious game program, is called Luminous 2. Luminous 1 actually came in an SMS form. We had an SMS contract with an insurance company in Kenya, which wanted to do interactive SMS games. So Luminous 1, we used the messaging part of the Luminous system to build that SMS, and we call that Luminous 1. So anyone who wants SMS products, we give Luminous 1 to them, and we use monies from there to fund Africa's Legends and the Afro comics that we have now. Then Luminous 2 came from people who wanted Luminous 1, but in a graphics form. So we took up the graphics bit, what we did for the traffic camera and all that streaming, and put it more together in a massive engine form, where even existing engines could plug into it, because some clients came that, hey, they wanted the thing built in Unity. So we found a way to optimize our engine in a way, though we were using other technologies, we found a way to make the engine work with a compiled Unity binary file as well. So our Unity games are also able to run within our game engine. Then Luminous 3 is one that we developed recently, which we definitely are using for the Africa's Legends, the new Africa's Legends that we started in 2017. And that is built on top of Luminous 3. And Luminous 3 is a revolutionary platform because it's something that cuts across all platforms. It works on the web, it works on SMS, text, PlayStation, Nintendo Switch. It can work across all platforms. And with this Luminous 3 came as a result of work that we did for another company, which also had some name out there. So they needed us to make certain features for them, which made Luminous 2 better. So strategically, we built on top of Luminous 2 to work on Luminous 3, strategically working with a bigger company that brought on board more features into the work that we do. So basically, these are ways that we work to get funding to Africa's legends and Afro comics and all the other products that we have at Letty Arts, including the comics that we make. The other one to that we also do is, since we do consulting, it's the pros there is that fine, you get revenue, but the cons is that it makes you divert from and it stretches you thin. You are tasked to work on several things and you don't pay 100% attention to your internal product. You are always split between other people's product, which is really hard to manage. So if you don't have a really structured way of managing these products, it's hard to keep doing consulting all the time. So what we did, or what we do at Letty, is we try to invest some of the revenues that we got quickly into recurring revenue generating projects. Services that we can deploy that in future would replace these one-off consulting gigs that we get, consulting maintenance and all that we get. So we started building smaller services that we could quickly sell to brands to make use of. And also, as we are doing this technically, we are also doing the product side, like the comic, the brand association, developing content with popular people, and also entering into other fields like the disability fields and all that. So you all know of Kamza. We did some association with Farida and came up with a superhero called Kamza to start a new superhero, which also appeals to the disability community. One thing that Letty does very well, that everything we do is still sticks to the vision. We never build products that are not interesting for our technology. It's not that you are doing consulting, so you just go and take a banking project and start making it, which is not in line with your idea. We always build projects that are aligned with our vision and mission, which is to make games using African talent that are good enough to compete globally, and also to tell the African stories in rich, interactive, modern form. So everything we do aligns to our vision and mission, and that is how unique our company has been within all these years. So this is a strategic way to still keep relevant and still invest in your internal projects, whilst you still serve other brands around you in your immediate surroundings. So I've mentioned Kamza associating. So when Farida talks about it in the disability space, Kamza made us start entering into the disabilities space and also getting much more exposure in that field to aid our consulting wing in terms of gamifying products in that light. That requires some investment. Kamza wasn't paid for. It's partnership, right? So partnership is a way that you also go, but you need to fund it from another project, or a reserve that you have. You have to consider that for your brand image as well. Then there is the main side. So Partnership is one. What I spoke about before was the customization, license, or revenue share model. Then there is a third one, which I was making a point on, is internally recurring revenue generating products that are small enough. So one of it is one that we built recently called the Hot Seat, which is like a trivia interactive app, which can be deployed with bigger partners, being it telcos or a brand who wants to run a trivia campaign and all that. So this product was built out of another job that we got, but this bit was built in an autonomous module that could stand alone. And we just deployed that as a product wing. So as part of our product wing, that is Africa's Legends, Afro Comics, and consulting being in the middle, Hot Seat came out of the consulting, which is also part of our wing now, which has also been deployed and has been launched on test, and we are also fixing it and making it better and better as we proceed. Yeah, so with all this, this is how Letty Art has been really working around our utilizing branded games to fund our dream projects. One of how we see this being streamlined, the direction that we've taken so far, which I think you as a game company can take and keep, is the internally revenue generated project. If there's a simple game that you can build that can generate quick money to fund other projects, bigger projects, that is a way that you should go, because what we've realized is the consulting licensing model, it takes time to close, and also after that has closed, maintenance and all that becomes a bit distracting, because you may work on a project 5 years ago and you are supposed to maintain it, and then you do another one, so you have to have a maintenance team. Probably by then, the maintenance fee might not be able to cover the costs and all that. So if you are running a consulting game company, run a consulting game company full-time, scale it, make it big, and then you can invest in another game. But if you are going in the route that we are going to build a big game, an internal franchise, which is Africa, and Africa's Legends being the superhero massive multiplayer game that we want to build, then and then funding it on our own, this is a model that has worked so far. Currently, we think we just have to go in for a bigger injection and focus on Africa's Legends and grow that, because we are not able to sustain development in a smooth way to build a bigger project, especially if the project is bigger than what you get from consulting to support it. Else there will be drags and too much delay. And also the cons that I told you about, the diversion in focus. So now you can see we have Afro Comics. Afro Comics is the publishing platform of content that we create, which is also a product on its own, where we've opened up to other artists and graphic novels to also publish within Afro Comics. And all these were created internally and with self-generated funds in terms of strategically positioning with brands and companies on the continent, making gaming content for them. So thank you very much, and I think I'll end here. And if you have any questions, you can send me an email, eyram@lettypass.com, and I will reply.